corner of the map. This is the ZOTAC Cup semi-finals, best of 3. It is the Teal Terran player, Dr. FaiLo.
And his opponent in the red in the lower left-hand corner, coming from Liquid, it is Dafuq, the little one.
But yeah, I was going to say, every single Terran we've seen play against TLO today has gone for that mech build, and every single Terran has been crushed, unquestionably, by TLO. So, will Dr. FaiLo have the multitasking and the skill required to pull off some amazing bio play and drops to maybe conquer this Titanus Zerg?
I'm intrigued to find out, especially in a best of 3. I imagine because FaiLo is in the EU scene, he's a GM, he's played against TLO a lot, he's aware of what he does. I don't know that TLO would be aware of what FaiLo typically goes, though, just because FaiLo's, we don't know his name. Some people do.
Okay, I've just been informed, the DR stands for derailed, but it's still going to be Dr. FaiLo, because I think it sounds so much cooler like that. But it is
Oh, yeah,
derailed.
I thought they were saying derailed as in you derailed me by saying doctor, because you almost did. It's true, though, but yeah. So, Dr. FaiLo.
Alright, well, with that slightly earlier gas, this will give way to what I'm going to assume will be a reactor on the barracks, because we see already some nice building placement here out of FaiLo. My question for this, though, is will this be for Hellions or will this be for Reapers? Because Reapers are not too bad at trading with Zerg in the early game. However, once speed is on the field, once some queens are out, they become shut down pretty quickly.
They still can be helpful at keeping the creep shred as minimal as possible. She goes with a Reaper first. So
well, yeah.
The gap is going to remain.
Well, every Terran player is going to go for Reaper first. I mean, it's the best scouting utilization you can ask for.
And the Overlord of TLO gets in here, sees what's happening, pretty much can assume what's happening in the rest of the base safely, would know that that gas is taken. The other Overlord's going to go to the north. Pretty normal scouting patterns out of him on no gas as of yet. And tell me, Rift Kings, what do you like to do on this map?
What do I like to do? Veto this map. No, but really, as a Terran player, FaiLo can do a lot of different things, but the big thing is it's really easy to fall into that mech trap, because some mech is still good. Overall, mech is good, but the problem is we're seeing today, TLO knows how to deal with it quite effectively now. I highly doubt FaiLo has been stalking TLO's games and watching them, but he has to have some indication that mech is probably not going to be the best option for him here. Bio, in general, seems to be the best thing versus any generic Zerg, and when you've got enough micro, I mean, take for example, players like Polt, you see him pull off like 7 drops going on simultaneously at the same time, that's going to be hell to deal with no matter how good of a player you are.
Yeah, and behind these two Reapers, we're actually seeing a factory going down, and one of these Reapers here was actually extremely successful, hunting down a couple of Zerglings. Queens are now out, though, for TLO, and so FaiLo be very challenged to find a gap in, but man, with just really high APM, Micro is going to get up this ramp.
Yeah, and a big thing here to consider as well, Reapers literally trade cost efficiently versus anything, as long as they don't die. As long as they get that combat drugs to kick in and start healing. Ooh, TLO almost catching it there.
Reactor actually is about halfway dead. FaiLo had to pull a lot of SCVs. Actually isn't repairing at all, which is a bit of
oh no, if this burns down...
The command center on the low ground also, the SCV
he's got the other SCV he needs to repair. Oh god, it needs to repair so badly.
Okay, it started to, but it's only one of them maybe, or both of them. Wow, these Zerglings got so close to ending this game early, but the Marines are now out.
TLO is the magic man with early 4 Zerglings, I have to say. Like,
True.
Of one thing today to really acknowledge out of TLO, it's the fact that he has been able to abuse early slowing pressure.
Which is an odd statement.
I know, like, where do you ever get to make that statement, right? It's...
The command center is finally going to get started, but they got delayed for almost over a minute with just 4 Zerglings who are still out here, still harassing, still alive somehow. One of them finally does go down. Hellion eventually will micro his way to victory.
As a Terran player, I do want to just throw my 2 cents here, where I think it's total BS that you can't just run over a Zergling with a Hellion. I mean, it's a dog thing, man, and this is a car.
I mean, maybe not with a car, because it would do damage to the car, but like with a tank maybe, or a Thor, I
A
could
Thor
totally
should just
see,
be
like,
able
a
to
step on.
step. Yeah, like just
Yeah.
squish everything in its path that's like not bigger than a Hydralisk, but personal bias aside, we have some aliens moving out on the field. Hopefully going to start reclaiming some bit of the map. It's going to be hard for him to push up in here on account of the fact that TLO always has a lot of queens on the field. But if he can pick off the creep tumors, start limiting the spread early on, it will pay dividends to him later on.
And FaiLo's actually doing exactly that. Gets the creep tumor, no problem. Like to see that. He hasn't checked on the third base timing yet. It's well past that 6-minute mark.
And TLO going for some funky play, or not only Swarmhost, but Nidus as well. And this is a build you typically see versus Protoss players, not against Terran. And the big part of this is because how quickly it's easy to react. I mean, okay, Swarmhosts come out, Terran scans them, that's it. Deal with one wave of Locust with one wave of Swarmhosts putting out Locust. When there's only 5 Swarmhosts, you scan them, you kill them very quickly. Hopefully, though, I mean,
I'm a little surprised, and I was actually just distracted by the thought of it would be really cool if Overseers could contaminate tech labs. That would be an interesting mechanic.
absolutely, but okay.
Because Overseer actually scouted in there, was able to see that the tech lab was on the way, but we have a Nidus Worm.
And I just realized the amount of creep that TLO leapfrogged across the map with that early layer. Jesus! He is going to deny this third for the entirety of this game if he wants at this point. Nidus Worm coming out. Of course, Terran player can't hear that, but it's kind of like, where is it? He's scrambling to look around.
He's thinking it's probably in his main, which is normally a good thought, but he's going to be confused when he's got Locusts arriving.
Spine crawlers, swarm hosts. TLO, you are a man after my own heart, sir.
And at the same time, these roaches cleaning up the Hellions that were trying to control the Xel'Naga. Thank goodness for some Widow Mines here. They're going to be really helpful with a couple of... Oh,
but it's going to be trading free units for free units, and yeah, the Hellion splash damage, a little unfortunate there. Actually, Locust, without the... they can't quite get there by the looks of it.
There they go. They finally do arrive. Target down, an SCV even. Oh,
wow, stopping the bunker, yeah. But this is quite frustrating to deal with because, I mean, FaiLo doesn't have a composition that can really push into this because of the spines. I mean, these low swarm host counts, you can actually push into that with some infantry, no problemo, even drop on top of it, but between the queens and the spine crawlers edging their way forward, there's no way for him to break TLO's lines.
Oh, and now repositioning.
I love this. Look at the slow push.
Closer.
Creep tumors coming out as well.
So much.
I mean, these Widow Mines are great against anything that's not free. This is really unfortunate. They actually are doing very little damage to these Locusts, surprisingly. TLO, again, just continuing to push forward very aggressively. Some even transfuses going down. Spine crawlers moving up the front lines as well. And Ord, I can't believe what we're watching right now.
Yeah, and he's taking the third base at the same time here. He's just so in control right now.
Well, the big thing is, like, let's assume FaiLo cleans this up. I actually don't think he will. I think he might actually lose the game here, but let's assume... Okay, a nice drop here at the third. Let's assume he cleans it up. Look at all this creep he has to deal with just to take a third base. I mean, he is in such a bad spot right now, Ord.
Yeah, and there's even some creep over there at, like, the normal fourth base location. Like, there's really nowhere for FaiLo to go.
Well, he's actually going to do a lot of damage with a small handful of Marines. The catch to putting everything across the field is he has almost nothing left at home to defend with. A couple Swarm Hosts, a Roach coming across. But I don't think he's really that concerned with the amount of damage he's causing to FaiLo's natural.
Yeah, and more Locusts are arriving through that Nidus. And there's some damage going down in the natural right now. The TLO is going to be able to react to it here. FaiLo does finally have some upgrades that are about to finish. It's going to be really helpful to him, but it seems like it's too little too late.
Locust damage is absurd, I have to say. Like, Jesus, holy moly. He is just annihilating everything. Spinecrawlers now with transfuses even taking on the bunker. SCVs being pulled, and Ord, this is kind of it for FaiLo. He's got to... I don't even know. The bunker living doesn't even matter, quite frankly. Because the Swarm Hosts, the Roaches, the Queens, they're all advancing forward. Bunker does actually finally go down. And FaiLo's got to be sitting here going like, what strategy is this? Why does that work? And how did I lose? Yeah, exactly. There we go. I got it. I'm making sure everybody sees that. F11. The fuck? Never seen that before. So really well played from TLO. Oh, what a great game.
That's fantastic.